Namaste. Hello, St. John's. Really good to see you. Really good to be with you again. Happy Easter. I hope you've had a really good Easter break. I hope you had a lovely time. If you were with friends or with family, whatever you did, I hope you had a really good time. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that follows after the Easter story about Jesus. We're doing a whole bunch of these stories at the minute. I know that Mr. Harvey told you a story about the rumour, the whispers of a story about Jesus being raised again. And this one carries on like that. But before we start, we must do our candle lighting. So let's do that. Would you please join with me as we do that? Let's see if I can make myself small. Oh, I'm squeezed in now. I'm small. So let's light a candle. And we say together, the prayer that we say, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. I'll put this down nice and safe over there. Right, so where do we begin? Well, let's tell this story and think about this is 3 days after the crucifixion of Jesus. And the disciples were in Jerusalem, but outside of Jerusalem, there were two people wandering along a road to another town. They were friends of Jesus. They were disciples of Jesus, but they'd left Jerusalem and they were going to a nearby town called Emmaus, and they were walking along a long, long road. And then all of a sudden, they're joined by, I haven't got another hand. What am I going to, here we are. Here they are. They're joined by someone else, a stranger who they don't recognize. Do you know who that might be? They're joined by a stranger. And so they say, well, walk with us. And so the stranger walked with them to Emmaus. And as they walked along, the stranger said, tell me, what's been going on in Jerusalem for these last few days? Because I've heard all sorts of noise. And they turn and say, what? Do you really not know all of the things that have been taking place in Jerusalem? And he said, well, tell me. And so they did. And they said, well, we were following someone called Jesus and we thought he was the Messiah, but now we're not so sure because he was crucified and it was horrible and scary. We saw our friend and our teacher die. And the stranger said, well, tell me more about this. And they said, well, here we go. Well, there we are. He said, but some of the women this morning were saying that Jesus wasn't in the tomb where we buried him. And so we're all a bit confused and we're not sure what to do. And so they carried on walking together. Shall I show you some artworks about this as well? Because it might help if I show you some pictures. Here, look, this is a famous painting. This shows, can you see, there's this figure in the middle, but they don't recognize who it is. They don't recognize. And there are two men. But it's funny, actually, nowadays, many people think that it wasn't two men. It was probably a man and a woman. Because women are really important in the Bible stories, and they often get overlooked, but they're really important in the Bible stories. Well, anyway, there they are, going along the road, like our figures here. Shall we see if there's another painting? Here we are. This one, I like this one a lot. This is a more modern painting. And this shows, can you see that the third figure looks like they're not fully there, like almost like a ghost, like they can't fully recognize, but they're on this long journey through the desert to this other town. Wonder what they're talking about. Wonder what you would talk about if you were on that journey. And they're trying to tell this person, this stranger, all about Jesus. Let's see another one. This is a really old painting. And here you can see where they've come. They've done this journey and now they've reached the town of Emmaus, but it's dark, or it's getting dark. And they say to the stranger, you can't stay out on your own. You should come with us. Come and have something to eat. Come and be with us. And this person says, no, it's okay. I'm going on. Oh, no, please come and stay. We'll buy you a meal. You can come with us. And so the stranger comes with them. So then they go into town. And this is a very famous painting of the same thing by Rembrandt. I wonder if you've heard of the artist Rembrandt. Rembrandt shows the figure in the middle and the two figures on the other side. And there's someone also there, can you see, who's bringing some food to the table for them. And this is the interesting point. As they sit down, this stranger takes some bread. Can you see? If you look really closely, can you see the bread in the stranger's hand? And he breaks it. And when he breaks it, suddenly, for the other two, they go, "Ah, we know who you are." Oh, can we see it? It's Jesus. We understand who you are, because they say, we recognize this. This is what happened just a few days ago when we had a last meal together. You broke bread and said, remember me by this. He broke the bread and they suddenly said, you're Jesus. And what's really interesting in that story is as soon as they recognize Jesus, he vanishes. And they're left thinking, we thought he died, but he hasn't died. He's here. He was here with us just now when we offered him food, and he broke the bread, and he was and can you imagine how excited they'd be? They were so excited. They probably did a little dance. I think I would do a little dance if I was that excited. Isn't that amazing? Let's see if there's another painting we've got which shows something like that. Oh, look at this. This is a very famous painting by Caravaggio. And this shows the brightness and it shows the astonishment, and they're amazed. Wow! It's Jesus. He is alive. The women at the tomb this morning were right. Jesus is alive. But we didn't recognize Jesus. Why is that? Why did we not recognize Jesus? Well, that is the funny question about this story, isn't it? Why is it that the two figures didn't recognize Jesus? But then, suddenly, when they were friendly and helpful and said, come and be with us, come and have a meal with us, be our friend, that then they did recognize Jesus. I wonder. I think what's going on here is a message for all of us, even today, 2,000 years on, that when we show kindness and generosity to strangers and to other people, then that's when we see Jesus. It's when we see God alive in our midst. Because often we might think, well, where is Jesus? Up in the clouds? Or inside of me? It's hard to know really where Jesus is. But actually, here's this picture which tells us that when strangers or people on the outside, people who are uncertain, are offered a welcome in, offered love, offered hospitality, then we see Jesus. Isn't that an interesting story? Isn't that an interesting story? And I think that's one of the special messages of this Easter story, this story which comes after this long road with a stranger, talking and walking with a stranger. Can I show you one of my other favourite pieces of art? Let me see if I can get this up for you. Oh, look at this. This is also one of my favourite pieces of artwork. This is by a Philippine artist called Emmanuel Garibay. Now, I wonder if you can see where Jesus is in this Emmaus picture. I wonder if you can see. It's not as easy as you might think. Think about this. Jesus has just been crucified. So which is the one who has the holes in their hand? It's the woman. It's the woman. And we have this beautiful picture of this nightclub in present day Philippines. It's hot and everyone's excited. You can imagine probably some loud jazz music or some other music playing in the background. And everyone's having fun and everyone's having a good time and celebrating. And I think what's happened there is those followers of Jesus have suddenly recognized Jesus again, a bit like with the stranger, somewhere we hadn't expected, in a woman, here, there, right in our midst, somewhere we hadn't expected, and yet we still found God. And so this is the very special thing that I wanted to say. This beautiful picture always showing us that with hospitality, with kindness and with love, Jesus turns up, even in the most unexpected ways, in ways we hadn't recognized. And so that, I think, is the purpose of this story about two people and a stranger walking to Emmaus. So, would you please join with me as we say a prayer. Dear God, we say thank you for Easter's gift of life and hope. We give thanks that you are not far away, but are near us when we show kindness and love to others, like the people walking on that road and seeing you when they didn't expect you. Help us to be open to see you in surprising places. Amen. Amen. And let's also say the prayer that Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Amen. Right, okie dokie. So, there we are. Our assembly has finished. It's really good to be back with you again. I'll be back with you next week, and the week after that will be Reverend Julie. So let's blow out our candle now with the same words of the prayer that we always say. Loving God, help me to shine like a light in the world. Amen. Can everyone blow this candle out with me? Can you do it? Can you do it? Quick. 1, 2, 3. Well done. Excellent. Really good to see you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.